Hey, this is gonna be a short one. So I'm gonna be playing around with what I've left yesterday. I fixed quite some stuff. Wait, where did my Hey 42x? How are you doing? Sorry, but this is going to be a little bit of a short one. I'm trying my new microphone. I hope this is gonna sound a bit better. It's gonna be a bit noisy sometimes. I was moving it. My setup is pretty homemade. I've taped in a couple of microphones together. Yeah, no, I started a bit late today, so I'm gonna keep it shorter. But the good news is that things are working better already. Like this is not the best. This is not the best implementation so far. Wait, what? Okay, I think I was doing something and then I left and went to sleep in the middle of it. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to make the water look good, and what did I do? Oh yeah, I moved this over here, and let me try to go back a little, not too much. Okay, this should be good. And all I did is just move things around and remove the multi-threading, and that was one of the main causes. There was probably an erase condition somewhere, and yeah, it's back to rendering. It's probably not the best performance ever, but at least I'm on the way to it. So this is already using the indirect drawing, and I fixed a few things. The only drawback is that now it's drawing everything so it's drawing the with these arcs that are generated. They are all generated from scratch. It's not a bad idea per se, but there is definitely a way to improve it, as not all the chunks will be loaded out. So this just recreates everything. Like or if there are chunks, then it's just gonna create the whole vertex buffer from scratch, and also the draw arguments. So it's gonna recreate it every frame, I believe. No, not every frame, but every time the player moves to a new chunk, and it is surprisingly fast. So sometimes the dumb implementations are faster than the ones that try to be too smart. But yeah, there is still the same problem though, which is that the water doesn't render correctly, and that's because even though wait, I lost some bits. So in the update chunks, the water and oh yeah, also I've separated the meshes by type, because in the meshing function, I made a map in which the key is a block type. So for every block type, it creates a different mesh. But then in the in the update function, where the data gets uploaded to the GPU, then some of the information is lost because I'm just appending everything and then still drawing it the same way. But at least we have some more information here. And I should be able to go back to what I was doing before, and maybe one simple solution is to have multiple vertex buffers. Yeah. So I will just shamelessly copy from the video and create a water. And this kind of leads me to make everything in a such a way that you have different layers. I don't know if layers is the right term, but yeah, render layers. That is kind of a good way to approximate the concept I'm trying to achieve. And so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna loop over the types only once, and then, well, maybe even this could be a map by itself. Yeah, that could be a generic way of viewing it. And then yeah, but the map then doesn't have an order, so yeah, that's it's more an array or a vector of these. But okay, I'm gonna leave it like this for now. That's not too hard to implement it this way, and collapse everything into a single for loop. And if the brick is of type of a water, then I'm just going to append it to the water one. Else it's gonna do that. So if it's water, add it to the water buffer, otherwise to the regular buffer. That sounds pretty good. And when we do the, well, that is wait, is that good? Because now we don't have the right offset, do we? Because this was relying on the size. There was something relying, yeah, the offset was relying on that. And I guess this also, okay, this makes it a little bit trickier, because now we have that the chunk needs a vertex offset. So there's not only one offset, and the chunk itself has a map of meshes. It's got a map of meshes, and it can't have a single count or offset. So it's gonna need a sub or a chunk layer. I don't know. How can I make this happen? A sub chunk where they are still in the same sector, or maybe share the same color, or I don't know. This is kind of tricky now, because it's kind of unfolding as I go forward. Let me go back a little. Well, I don't necessarily need to make another buffer. All I need is to create another draw argument. Yeah, that's maybe the answer. Okay, I'm starting to see something here. So what I actually need is to take note of the draw. So draw argument, where does this come from? It's a big array. Okay, so we don't keep allocating. So this is a static array, and we suballocate. So what I'm gonna need is to keep the count of the draw. So I was the same thing that I was doing earlier, but now it's gonna be done better. And the vertex offset, is this even needed? Like, vertex offset is already set there. Is this used anywhere else? Let me see. Where is this used? So it's only assigned one, and then it's used right afterwards. So this guy here is not even necessary anymore. And also the count. So that's why it was kind of misleading, because I thought that was necessary. And the chunk vertex count, maybe the vertex count is useful, however, because the vertex count is set here, but I have the data itself. So do I even need the vertex count here? No. That's the answer. So this is not needed, but I will keep it anyway because I made this really nice accumulation, range-based accumulation thing. So stood at one curious thing is that stood accumulate ended up being fold the left. Not quite sure the whole folding business here, but I'm not a functional programmer, and I have never dived into that stuff, which is a bit of a shame. I should, but okay, yeah. Let's leave it at that. I'm gonna clean things up a bit because I'm not planning on going back anytime soon. I usually try to keep things that maybe, yeah. The funny thing is that you start that by changing a bit of code here, a bit of code there, and then you comment stuff, thinking, oh, okay, yeah, let me just try this thing. Then I will go back. Okay, but now I'm gonna try this other thing, and then this other thing. There's just no way you're gonna go back anytime soon, because you're now already lost in your changes. So this is something that I've learned from artists, which is don't be afraid to just move on. And sometimes it's good. Having a VCS, like a source code control, that helps because you just then I don't know, stash your content, and then it's like having, well, it's not like it's just like having a history. So commit often and don't be afraid to move on. What am I doing now? I'm kind of on autopilot. I will declare a new function, a new variable here, which is going to be the vertex count. And we're gonna feed it to chunks. This is const, and the vertex offset Well, let's make another const variable here. There we go. I may have forgotten something. What? All right. So vertex count, we have it, and vertex offset, we have that too. But now I need to move everything out of there and into here. So for each chunk, we are now creating a draw call, which is fine. For now, because we are only dealing with two competing water types, block types. And oh wait, but actually, yeah, this will not last long, because one thing that I wanted to do is to disable the blending, because otherwise that's going to be a waste of computation for the opaque objects, like the opaque blocks, which are mostly there are all of them except for water and possibly, I don't know, clouds. Yeah, I want to make clouds at some point. That is set to be fun. Okay, back to the loop. So for each mesh, I'm gonna check whether it's a water. Do I even need to check? Well, it needs to happen first. I could have two. I could probably have two loops. Yeah, that would be the easier. So I'm gonna have two loops. The first one will be for not water, and the second one for water, which is again a very simple solution. And that's what we want, simple solutions. Use view keys. Okay. The object, but we're not going to use the main I loop, and this can really be transformed into a range loop. So let's do it right away. So that's gonna be an auto ref chunk, because we are not relying on the original indexing anymore. And if we need to do so, we are just going back again to it. So the rule is just move on quickly. Let's the ideas flow. Chunk, and the typos disappear. That's going to be draw count, which is nothing but the draw args length. I could use the draw args length. No, this doesn't have length. Yeah, actually, that was wrong to say. And this is the draw, and lastly we increment it, and bada boom. No need to set it anymore, because that's gonna match with the draw args anyway. And that's pretty much it. What is M? Why is M not used? chunk. Oh, okay, that's curious. What is going on here? Chunk.mesh. Wait, something is missing. Oh yeah, that's because I'm doing something wrong here. And instead, I need to move it down here. And not the vertex count is going to be for this very okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, there's no need to do this anymore. This was good for the old way of chunking everything together. Now this is just mesh.vertices.size. But the offset, I need that. Oh, come on. Mesh.vertices.size and statically cast it to whatever it needs it to be. Yeah, which is, yeah, and my keyboard is trying to be unresponsive. Yeah, you're in 32. And then the vertex offset is again just the same with the VBO size. And the VBO size. Wait, nobody's is increasing the VBO anymore. So that's what happens first here. So the VBO gets a nice append to the mesh vertices. Okay. Is that? No, because then it's vertices size. Yeah, I could do that later here because I need to keep track of the current offset, which is the size at the time before the append. Otherwise, I'm gonna get a reading that is not correct. Is that everything? And this should draw the non-water. We rely on the draw count and everything seems to be set. I'm gonna try it. First, let's see if it compiles, and second, let's see if it runs, and third, we're gonna check if it's correct. Whoa, unbelievable. It passed all the checks. Cool. So in this stream, we are progressing fast. That's why it's going to be short. So technically, it's the same amount of progress, but just compressed in time. All right, so now that we have the water, well, I like this range. I want to keep it for now because it's neat, and I'm pretty sure I will need to fold more ranges soon. So that's for the non-water, and I guess in the same chunk I can draw it as a second draw, and it should not affect the previous one. So draw count, everything is encapsulated, so they should not interfere. Okay, we have the waters. Why is it still wrong? What's happening? Oh, this is even wronger than before. It's wronger, if it can be wronger than before. So the non-water, and then the water, what's... Okay, I guess that's because I'm gonna need to, I will probably need to do multiple draw calls at this point. Yeah, I was wrong thinking that I can easily get away with ordering them correctly, but I'm still surprised. I need to go into render doc. I really want to see what is happening. So this is gonna shed some light on the actual behavior. I want to see why it's doing like this. The color pass. So we have an indirect draw of 1000, like 1100s draw calls, and we can navigate them. So there it, wait, what? Why did it draw water before land? That's not correct. It's always drawing water. Oh, that's, yeah. No wonder that was wrong. Why is it doing like that then? So we're saying that if it's not water. Ah, but that's dumb because we are looping on them. So that was my mistake. Sorry. We need to get the loop as well. It's not just, we can't just get away with that. Okay, now it's gonna loop over all of the sub meshes, and then it's gonna draw all the non-water and then all the water. Yeah, that somehow looked even worse than before. And it was trying hard to be the worst drawing ever. Now it's gonna work. Yeah! No, wait, what? 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 Ah, this is, oh no. Oh. Because this is on the edge between two chunks. And it doesn't know how to order between two chunks. Well, this looks like I've done some work for nothing. And I've fixed something that didn't need to be fixed, which is the in chunk drawing. And that's always been correct. That was correct in the first place, because I knew exactly which mesh to draw for, but that wasn't going to fix the overall problem anyway. So I would still need to have two different object vertex buffers. Or maybe I can just move the scope of the chunk. Like, instead of having only one big loop, I can just have the whole, yeah, I can just have the whole loop done all over again. Yeah, that should be the expected behavior. Like, I'm gonna cycle over all the chunks, and then if it's water, I'm gonna put the water. No, if it's ground, I'm gonna put the draw. Let's say virtually draw all the ground, and then virtually draw, like, have all the arguments for the water, and this is gonna work. Like, there's no way this isn't gonna work. And indeed, it does work. Well, okay, that no freaking out. This is under control, and that's just a known bug, so which is a bug feature. Never ever resize the window. That's the rule number 1 of the Vulkan developer. Never resize the swap chain. Okay, cool. This is looking good enough, but it's kind of underwhelming. One thing that I wanted to do is to have different layers for the water, and I wonder if this is going to be something super easy to accomplish, because the layering, each block is gonna look at the neighbors, and it will, yeah, so it will draw only when there is air at the top, and we can say draw only air on the top, but the top always the top. Yeah, I guess that should work. So if we force it to always draw the top if it's water, and I think we had special case for the water, that was decided in the chunk generation. Yeah, right. So in the chunk generation we have this this mask thing, which is a face mask, and the face mask is looking. Yeah, sounds. Is it loud? Am I loud? It's loud. Use loud for it. What is loud? Ah, not loud. Sorry, I wrote loud. What is land? Land. Use land for this. I have no idea what land is. Is it like an algorithm or something? Voxel land? Is it something? Real time screen space reflection. What? Please explain. What is land? Real-time rendering and dynamics. Okay, I've got something. Octree clouds. I don't think I am at this stage, to be honest. This looks very cool stuff, but just to give you a context, trying to do a Minecraft style voxel render, but for the Quest. So I have to carefully pick my features. So architectural visualization is definitely not in the kind of spectrum. And whenever I hear of Pokemon props, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen on mobile. Anyway, I'm gonna give it a quick look at some point. So all the resources are appreciated. So if the block type is water, then I should look into the top. So the top is up, and it's got the first index. So this should be the top, and I want the top to be always, I don't remember. If I put 1, this is gonna be always visible. So let me try to check this. Okay, so if there is air, this is gonna be 1, and then it gets shifted by 0 bytes. So this is the 1. So okay, I'm gonna hack in 1, and this should give me visibility over the upper face of each cube always. But then we still have the same problem. I hope the layering is in a sane order. You're going from the bottom to top. Yeah, that should be alright. Oh wow, this is super duper cool. And the order of drawing appears to be correct already. No, not really. It is not correct at the edge between 2 objects, but only on one side. So I don't think there is an easy way to fix this. Okay, like what is, you should always draw the furthest first, and then coming back to the first. Okay, so one way I could improve this behavior is to have some sort of centering spiral, like a spiral that slowly comes back to the center. Wait, what? Oh, I forgot I had a zooming feature. So you can see the chunks, the split in the chunks. So this is one split already. And right now, how am I drawing things? I think they are pretty random. So to see how things are being drawn, I can just rerun it in RenderDoc. No, don't save it. Launch and don't save it. I can, yeah, just fly away. I need to have a keystroke to move faster. Okay, so this is all the land we have. I'm gonna grab a frame from this. Thank you. You can go now. So in the color pass, we have 1100 draw calls. And this is going to be all the land. Okay, this, the order at which it's happening. So it by layer. And you can see it's doing something like this. Let's see if I can draw control 2 or 3. I forgot what was keys now. This is countdown. Control 2. What? Why do I even have a countdown? 10 minutes. Is it cool? I like the countdown. Here's a detour. Just bear with me. I need to figure this out. Let me see if I can have countdowns. That should be the power toys. Yeah, this is in the power toys. I'm gonna summon the power toys. The system tools, there should be something about countdowns. Is there a search bar? Not really. Was it in Zoom It? So draw, live zoom, type, demo, break. Oh, I think it's break. So this is break. Show time elapsed, play sound, opacity, timer position. Timer opacity. Show a background. Can I have it like minutes? Show the timer lapse. Yeah, can I have it like smaller? Timer opacity. This project looks quite interesting to me, not gonna lie. Thanks, Leslie. You can follow it on Discord. There's a link in the description if you want. I sometimes post discoveries, and I will. Yeah, the plan is to make tutorials about my journey. Now I'm just learning how to do things in a correct way, and then I plan to make a series of tutorials where I basically start from scratch, look back into my progress, and I'm recording everything. So look from the beginning, and then just you know, it's gonna be somehow a very entry level, but still advanced, because yeah, Vulkan is not, it's not super simple anyway. So, but you can do it. It doesn't have to be Vulkan anyway, because most of the things that are Vulkan related, well, there are so many resources around, which I'm just gonna skip, yeah, not skip it, but I'll just try to fast forward them. All right. And also my goal is to try to keep everything as clean as possible, so I can focus on the main aspect of the development, which is correctly using OpenXR and Vulkan. All right, so this is how the draw gets done, which is fine because it follows the pattern of the for loops, but it's not correct for the from the viewpoint. So there are two approaches that I see often, and one is to have like a spiral. Well, a spiral is the one that makes sense, because you are at the center, and then the spiral starts from the center and it grows increasingly outwards, which gives you like importance at where you are. And as you move, so let's say you move to here, and it's just going to do the same spiral again. I wonder if I can change the color. No, not really. Blue? What if I hit blue? Oh yeah, I can change the color. So the next spiral is going to look like this, and it's already like overlapping some of the chunks that already exist. So that will just reuse these bits, probably. That's should be a good idea, and just load in this order. But on the other hand, this is going to draw things. Yeah, not really. I mean, one could generate the chunks in this order and then render them in the opposite order, which are the furthest from. It's still, well, maybe it's not the most optimized way anyway, because if you render them in this order, then this chunk here is rendered before this chunk, and that could be fine. But then this chunks is rendered before this one, which is still fine though. Yeah, no, it's not fine, because then there is this overlapping edge again, and this is where the drawing, where the blending issue happens. So that's not fully solving the problem, but it's on the way. So what I need is a global, like, global layer management thing, where the whole drawing happens in the same order. And this can be done by issuing two different render lists. Like, it doesn't necessarily need two different like vertex buffers. And I think that is where I'm heading for the next stream. Yeah, I will have two different. It could be good enough, but instead of having a single draw argument, this is fine. Like I could reuse. Wait. Oh, okay. So the uniform should be maintained. So that is definitely something that I want to try to keep. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, maybe the uniform needs to be optimized somehow. I don't know. I'll think about it because there are a few issues still here. If I go back to the render doc, so right now there are none, but some of these calls might have 0 vertices. It's probably not happening in this case. Just because of the way I've set the shader. Let me jump quickly back to the shader. So the shader is gonna use the draw index. The draw index, it will read from the object's data, which is which contains not this one, header, which contains the transform and other data. So the transform will be read by the draw index. But what happens is that whenever I'm drawing this land, it's not going to contain any water. And so that means that I will need the same amount of draws, like 1100 draws, to have a match in the indices. And that is definitely not cool, because there will be lots of indirect empty commands. I don't know if that will mean anything in overhead. Like that could just be the 0 overhead, or it could be some overhead. I don't know. I'll for sure try to implement the simplest way first, and then the second stage would be to have an indirect index here, like the one that I already had. So this object indices is nothing but an index of, well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the object data doesn't have to be the same, right? Because the binding that is happening in here in the shader. So I've changed the shader to have two sets, which is one for the per frame constants, and then one for the per object data, which is just a flat array of object data. And this allows me to do all the draws into a single buffer binding. So you have to bind data in the shader every time you need to draw a draw call. You need to issue a draw call, and that happens here. So you bind the pipeline, and then you bind the descriptor set. So I got away by binding only So this gonna bind the per frame descriptor set, and then the object descriptor set, which links to the single buffer of uniforms and at the index 0. And what I can do is that I can create different indices, and then I'll have to bind them here, which is fine. Because I already got away with binding 1100 different sets to just one, and that is already a big improvement. So instead of having like 1100 render draw calls, I'm gonna have 2 of them. Cool, that sounds promising. All right, I'm done for today. Well, maybe later. Maybe I might have something for later. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for following. And yeah, well, if you're not following, just subscribe, and we will see you in the next episode, I guess. Doing pretty good progress so far. This is just a starting. Have a nice day. Bye, everybody. Yeah, the chat is very quiet. Yeah, never mind. I like it when it's quiet. It doesn't distract me too much. See you 42x. See you next time.